Dani Gasparini, and welcome to this segment of Penn Voice. I am joined today by Pamela Estes, who is the Human Trafficking Committee Chair. Pamela, welcome.
Well, thank you very much, Dani.
So before we sort of dive into a program that you want to talk about today, can you give our viewers a definition of human trafficking? I think there's a lot of misconception of what that is today.
There are a lot of myths and misconceptions about it, which is one of the reasons we wanted to do this campaign and hopefully raise people's awareness and dispel some of these myths and misconceptions. But human trafficking is modern day slavery, and it is the use by traffickers of force, fraud, or coercion to force people or to exploit people, make money off of them. It's in the context of sexual exploitation, and then also in the context of forced labor, right, where people have to work against their will.
I think it's that labor part that we forget. I think human trafficking, what comes up to us is prostitution. And even in that definition, you've talked about prostitution in a very different way, in the fact of it is the prostitute that's the victim.
Correct.
And not necessarily the person that is seeking something or the aggressor. So tell us a little bit about the definitions. You talked about labor and it being forced labor.
Correct.
No matter what area it's in. So give us a little bit more idea about
in the area of sexual exploitation, in this area, I'm told that it's about 40% sexual exploitation, about 60% forced labor. And the sexual exploitation occurs from the standpoint of escort services, residential brothels, strip clubs, and just prostitution. In the labor setting, a lot of times it can be domestic work, domestic help, and small businesses such as restaurants, factories, and even in the agricultural industry.
So you've started now that we want to dive deeper into this, a campaign that is before our very eyes. So what is unique about this campaign, and what are your goals in bringing this awareness out?
Yeah, thank you. Before our very eyes was just to help us realize that a lot of it is happening before our eyes and we don't realize it. These people are not walking around necessarily with bruises or in chains. They really are literally walking around us every day, and we just don't know what to look for anymore. Right. And our campaign is just to raise awareness with the general public. We are understand that the city, the county, and even Councilwoman Spear has done a great job of trying to raise education in the law enforcement area and also in specific industries like the hotel industry and in the transportation industry. But the general public is just not aware that it's happening here. Many people think this is a problem overseas. And if it's a problem here, it's a problem with foreign people as well. But no, most of the people, or half of the people that are trafficked in America are actually American citizens. Right. 80% are women and children. 50% of those are women, and men are involved in too, or boys are involved as well. And so it is happening with American citizens.
And we want to thank, again, as you mentioned, Congresswoman Jackie Spear for bringing this to the forefront, because then she has engaged local law enforcement here in San Mateo County, where she's originally started her political life. So specific to San Mateo County and before our very eyes, what are the kinds of things that you are trying to bring awareness to? What do we look for? What can we as citizens do to help you in identifying something that might be happening, or these abuses that are around us?
Right. I think Jackie Spear has said it very well, or Congressman Spear has said it well, is if you see something, say something. There's a national trafficking hotline that people can put into their phone, and it's better to risk being wrong than to risk not calling if you see something that's unusual. I can give you a couple of examples that I'm aware of. There was a teacher who recognized that a child was not bringing food to school to eat at lunch, was was never allowed to stay after school for any kind of activities, never showed up for anything past the school bell, and just realized that that seemed a little odd to her, and in closer examination discovered that the child was being labor trafficked. He was actually going home from school and working, this is an elementary school child, until the evening. And recently the case that was prosecuted here in San Mateo County, it was a hotel clerk who witnessed a man check in with 2 girls and then the next day check in with 2 different girls, and that just didn't look right to her. And she provided a tip through the national hotline, and it ended up being a case of sexual exploitation, and the man was prosecuted. So those are the things you have to look for, is just keeping your eyes open and just saying something if something doesn't look right.
And I know we're going to post the hotline numbers and all of the websites and lots of places where someone can go to either report something or to get more information as well.
Yes, that would be great. Yes, thank you.
And so this sort of seemed like a conversation that was elevated through the Super Bowl.
Correct.
But now we're continuing the conversation because we started it. Why do you think that we've now sort of changed our focus? Because we've learned more about this underground, I don't want to say industry, but this underground happening. Is that why we're sort of changing the conversation and we've learned more about what the parameters and definitions are?
I think 2 things have happened. I think number 1, people are realizing that a lot of these people involved in sexual exploitation are not consenting. They appear consenting because they're under fraud, force, or coercion. They're not reaching out for help because they risk their safety if they were to get caught. They don't know who to trust. And I think also on the issue of the awareness, it's actually a growing problem.
Right.
It's the 2nd largest criminal industry in the world, second only to drug dealing. And drug cartels are getting involved in it because it's so more lucrative to sell a person repeatedly than it is to sell a drug, because you get to sell it once.
Right.
But a person you can sell over and over again. So I think a lot of the drug cartels and gangs are getting involved in that activity because it's so lucrative.
So then our best defense will be a community of knowledgeable individuals to see and learn and be able to report. What are the things that we can be doing?
Number 1 is have the National Trafficking Hotline in your phone so that it's accessible. Number 2, if you see something that seems out of the ordinary, say something. In the context of maybe a restaurant, there have been reports at restaurants where they're served by people who just look stressed or rushed or don't talk, or they see them in the same place over and over again, and can call in a tip on that as well.
So Pamela, all of this leads to a community awareness event that you're doing on May 14th. So tell us a little bit about the uniqueness of this event and what your goals and what you hope to achieve by having this event on May 14th.
Yes, thank you. So one of the things we hope to achieve is to have the public come, people who know literally nothing or next to nothing about human trafficking, to learn more, to become educated, to become more confident in what they need to be looking for. If we can help law enforcement with our eyes in identifying this, it'll be a much easier task for them. So we know that this is a difficult subject for people, and so we've provided a lot of different ways for education. We have all throughout the day, we have survivor videos that will be in the Atkinson room of the San Mateo County History Museum, as well as some educational videos that will help people understand how to identify trafficking. We have a panel discussion at 1 o'clock with 5 different speakers who are very educated in the area, who will be there to talk about the issue, but also to answer questions. We also have a big public art display on the square from an artist named Jonathan Fung that was created for the Super Bowl, specifically to raise awareness about human trafficking. In addition, we will have a dramatic reading from a local filmmaker who's actually written a film about local human trafficking that will be dramatically read from the stage. And we'll have resource tables and groups that are involved in anti-trafficking activity to be there to help people understand it better, figure out ways they can be involved. And we have Heavenly Treasures, which is a fair trade organization there, so people can come and shop.
And I would imagine it's free admission to people
Free.
who want to come and participate throughout the day.
There's no cost at all, and we want everybody to come and bring their friend and spend an hour or so.
Pamela, thank you so very much for bringing this such important topic to all of us. I know that myself and all the viewers have learned so much more about human trafficking and what to look for. So thank you for bringing this to us. And we'll see all of you next time on Penn Voice.